the recording. Thanks, Leah. Welcome everybody to today's TDL Member Forum for October 2021. My name is Christy Park. I'm the Executive Director of TDL, and I am so glad that you've joined us today. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging that we're all joining today, this meeting, from the indigenous lands of Turtle Island, the ancestral name for what now is called North America. Though TDL staff works fully remotely and we're all joining from our own specific places in Texas and maybe elsewhere, I, along with many TDL staff, joined from Austin and the Central Texas area, where the Tonkawa were among the traditional stewards of the land before their forcible removal. Moreover, TDL would like to acknowledge the Alabama Coshada, Caddo, Carrizo Comecrudo, Coahuiltecan, Comanche, Kickapoo, Lipa and Apache, Tonkawa, and Isleta del Sur Pueblo, and all the American Indian and indigenous peoples and communities who have been or have become a part of these lands and territories in Texas. And I invite each of you to share your own land acknowledgements in chat if you'd like to. Leah is also sharing some additional resources to learn more. So here's our agenda for today. I'll start with some updates, and then Courtney and Leah will join me to report out on some highlights on our services and projects, and Alex will wrap us up with some community updates. Also, thank you to Alex for managing our slide deck today. Okay, well, we're going to start today with some bittersweet news, which is that TDL is saying goodbye to our wonderful administrative associate and conference planner, Alex Suarez, who has worked with us since October of 2019. And in her 2 years with us, amazingly, I can't believe it's only been 2 years, she's helped us with 3 TCDLs, 2 TDL awards, nominations, processes, and ceremonies, 30 plus webinars and other online events, and she's paid countless invoices, kept our website updated, helped launch our TDL GIS interest group, and equally as important, she has proved herself to be a really fun and reliable coworker, and we are sad to see her go. Alex, though, is going to be joining the fabulous team at the Lilas Benson at UT Austin as a digital processing archivist. And so we're also really excited for her as she starts this new chapter in her career, and also excited that we'll continue to be able to work with Alex as a TDL member. So I know that all of you will join me in thanking her for all she's done for TDL and wishing her the very best as she transitions to her new role. Her last day at TDL is this coming Monday, October 25th. And we'll have more updates for you as she transitions out of that role, and we're figuring out how to fill her shoes in the interim, an impossible task. We'll keep you updated on that. Okay, next up. Last week, TDL hosted our annual member board meeting, where the deans and directors of our member institutions or their proxies convened to get updates about our work in the past year and also discuss matters of importance to the consortium. Lorraine Harricombe, the vice provost and director of the libraries at UT, who is also our incoming chair of the governing board, led that meeting. She was filling in for outgoing chair Kelly Gonzalez of UT Southwestern Medical, who couldn't be there. We welcomed a number of new members to the consortium, as well as new deans and directors who were joining this meeting for the first time. And Courtney and I reported on progress that we've made towards our strategic goals and our financial status. And we closed the meeting with an open discussion on diversity initiatives. Once our meeting notes from that meeting and some other materials are approved for distribution, we will publish those in the TDL repository and in a collection we have there for board materials. So you'll be able to get a more detailed update on what we discussed there. And we invite you and welcome you to access those materials once they're there. It's always a treat to get to see all of our member deans and directors in one room, even if it's a virtual room. And we were so glad to see our old and new members join in for that meeting. Okay, so finally, I think the last update before we move into services reports, we are thrilled to announce on the next slide that next year's conference, the 2022 Texas Conference on Digital Libraries, will once again be a fully virtual event. And we hope that you will save the date on your calendars, save the week of May 23rd to attend TCDL. We are anxious on the TDL staff and on the TCDL planning committees. We're anxious to get back to an in-person TCDL. I know many of you are as well, but because of ongoing uncertainty around the pandemic and because of state mandated prohibitions on implementing safety requirements, should there still be community spread in the spring, we decided this year to see the 2022 conference as an opportunity to learn from and build on the success of our 2021 virtual conference and just do it bigger and better, and seize the many opportunities provided by a virtual event. So like providing free and low cost registration options, as well as the ability to welcome more folks from a broader geographic region. So we're excited. Our conference committee, which is very ably led by Amanda Zarang as chair, they're actively planning to make this a great event that takes advantage of some of those unique and creative opportunities. And we're excited to share more with you as planning progresses. And also just want to, as a side note, thank Alex Suarez again for leaving us in really great shape for next year's TCDL. She's already done just a ton of work to get us set up for that event. And we're looking forward to sharing more as we know more about what's going to happen there. All right, we'll move next into some updates on our services, starting with OJS, our open access journal hosting service. So just in the last week, we identified an issue with some of our journal sites that we've had to kind of pivot to address. And so I wanted to share a little bit about that with you, as well as some other work that we're doing. So we identified an issue in many journal sites, a kind of legacy issue from when we were in OJS2 in an old hosting infrastructure, where a large number of invalid user accounts have been created with invalid email addresses. And so Nick Woodward, our lead software engineer for the OJS service, and Andrew Ryder, our help desk technician, have been working from a couple of different angles over the last week to eliminate as many of those spam accounts as possible from the journals, with as little collateral damage to legitimate user accounts as we can have. They've done just some great work over the last week to address some of our more our worst offenders and get the numbers down. And starting right about now, Nick Lawland, our systems administrator, will be taking over this work now that the most urgent cases have been addressed. Additionally, our systems architect, Clark Kim, is investigating methods for better logging outgoing email from these sites so that we can catch invalid accounts and invalid email addresses more quickly and address them before they become an issue. So a note to our OJS users group members that we'll be discussing this issue in more depth at our next OJS user group meeting and be able to answer questions there. And we might be able to talk about how we could work together with our journal managers a little more to address these issues more proactively through some user management proactive user management. Along with this work on the spam, the fun with spam, Nick Woodward has continued to work with our members at Arizona State Libraries to migrate Borrowers and Lenders, the Journal of Shakespeare and Appropriation, from University of Georgia servers where they currently reside to TDL infrastructure under the Arizona State membership. So that work is ongoing and will continue to be part of Nick's portfolio for the foreseeable future. Okay, secondly, a couple of updates on repository hosting. So I think the headline here is that the work on OJS that has been taking place over the last week or two has delayed by several days a set of sprints starting this week focused on DSpace. We're starting that work a little late, but we're transitioning into it right now. So during this next month or so, we'll begin the process of migrating our hosted repositories to new instances in the Amazon cloud that use an updated operating system. This is one phase of a large maintenance project that the team is going to be working on throughout the next year that will impact all of our services, but it won't result in any changes on your end. You won't need to do anything or learn anything new. It's just an under the hood maintenance operation. Along with the migration, Nick Woodward is going to be implementing a new feature in the DSpace user interface that will improve the way downloads and views are displayed on item pages. And we will be reaching out to and communicating with repository managers directly about the updates as they get scheduled to let you know of any impacts like brief downtime, maybe for your individual repositories. So be on the lookout for those emails. And with that, I think I'm handing it over to Courtney to share a few more updates about digital preservation and research data management.
Thank you, Christy, and hi, folks. I'm Courtney Muma. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm TDL's Deputy Director. So let's start with digital preservation. On November 4th, World Digital Preservation Day, I'll share a blog post reviewing how our members have progressed over the past few years. While writing that blog post, I was reminded that it's been a while since we've hosted a digital preservation training or event outside of our quarterly interest group meetings or web archiving special events. To that end, please do take some time to take our practices survey to help TDL share the resources, strategies, and experiences that will strengthen Texas's commitment to digital preservation. We want to learn more about the various local tools, workflows, and policies you have in place so that we can help shape the digital preservation training and guidance that we offer in the coming years. The survey will close on December 1st, 2021, and we'll share the results on the TDL Digital Preservation Wiki and here in the forum. Only one of the questions is required, so answer as much or as little as you'd like, hopefully more than one. We estimate that this survey will not take more than 15 minutes to complete, though, even if you do answer all of the questions. We will collect emails in the survey for the sole purpose of following up. If you indicate you'd like us to do so, those emails will not be used for any other reason. And we'll go ahead and share a link in chat where you can take the survey. And I'll also send it out to both the Digital Preservation and Web Archiving Texas Interest Group listservs later today. Next up, for all of our data curious and data wranglers, over the last year, a group of TDR members piloted a membership with the Carpentries, specifically focused on data carpentry. Members of that pilot group attended instructor training and hosted 3 Carpentries workshops, all virtual. The TDL board has approved a renewal of that Carpentries membership at the bronze level, which is just one step down and includes 2 Carpentries organized workshops. Any TDL member can register their staff for an instructor training seat as well for just $1,000, skipping the wait list, which is a really big deal. Because of this, we were able to train 18 folks last year, well, over the last 2 years. Over the next year, we want to build capacity across TDL for teaching and hosting carpentries workshops. We also have one additional workshop that rolled over from this year that we weren't able to do. We also might be able to do something in person this year. We're kind of waiting and seeing on that, but that would be really cool to do in Texas. And we're expanding now outside of just data carpentry to include library carpentry and software carpentry for all TDL members, not just the TDR folks. So this, we're going to have a meeting to kind of launch our expansion on Monday, November 15th from 2 to 3 p.m. You will have seen a notification about that go out yesterday. Please do attend if you can, if you have any interest in the carpentries at all. You can learn more and help us plan for the coming year. And I think we'll drop a link in chat where you can learn more and register for that meeting to join us. Next up, I am really happy to introduce Amanda Schmidt, a graduate MLS student at TWU who is working on Google Analytics for our Texas Data Repository in partnership with members of the TDR Steering Committee. So hit it, Amanda.
Thanks, Courtney. Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me here. I'm calling in from my place of work at the State University of New York at Geneseo, which stands on the historic homeland of the Seneca Nation of Indians and the Tonawanda Seneca Nation of the Haudenosaunee peoples. I am currently, as Courtney said, a graduate student at TWU at Texas Women's University in their MLS program. Yay, Western New York. I work with Mike Phillips, who unfortunately can't attend today, on the Dataverse Google Analytics project for the TDR. And excuse me for looking at my notes. Mike and I are thrilled to have the opportunity to work on this project, but we did start with absolutely no knowledge or understanding of either Dataverse or Google Analytics. So a large part of this experience for us has been to take the time to teach ourselves about these platforms. So although it's felt like extremely slow going up to this point, we're just now starting to see some value in our output, and we're really excited to share that with you. So for those of you who are completely unfamiliar with the project, we were charged with learning about Google Analytics and creating internal as well as external dashboards on the metrics that the TDR is most interested in, as outlined in the 2019 survey report. Some of these metrics include unique page visitors, session duration, percent new users, and referral sources. Additionally, we were asked to figure out how to create reports on these metrics that could be shared with your participating institutions. And in addition to this original charge, we've also come across some additional needs that we identified, including creating a Google Analytics handbook for and as well as brainstorming or lightly drafting some policy recommendations associated with more actively using Google Analytics, since it hasn't been as actively used up to now. So I'd like to direct your attention on this slide to the wishlist metrics report that I've linked to. If someone can share the link, you can all access it to view, and you'll find the reports that we've already generated up to this point. If you keep an eye on this folder, you'll see some changes as we continue to tweak and refine our reporting. That being said, we don't recommend that you circulate these reports as they stand now because they're largely still drafts. So they're going to change. They're not in their final form, but we really want you all to see kind of what is being collected and what we're figuring out. And it's the information on them is still very interesting and valuable, and we hope you take a look. We're also currently working on refining a glossary that Mike put together last month into a handbook, and we're excited to share that with you all when it's complete. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Amanda. That was excellent.
Thanks so much, Amanda. I'm going to grab, I think I was able to access the link to that wish list.
I dropped it in the chat, Leah.
Oh, you did? Oh, you just did. Okay, good. Sorry about that. I should have had that ready. Okay, well, thanks again, Amanda. And hi, everyone. This is Leah DeForest, the Communications Manager with Texas Digital Library. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm going to give you just a couple more updates around a couple more student projects, as well as updates for our OER support service. And so Like Amanda, we are working with students from other iSchools around Texas. And for the second year in a row, TDL is collaborating with students from the Digital Libraries course at the School of Information at UT Austin. And this semester, we're working with two groups of students. The first group is helping us assess the environmental impact of our digital preservation services. And the second group is interviewing a small handful of TDL members and partners to get their perspectives on what it means to be a digital librarian or digital archivist. And so these projects are ongoing right now, are in process right now. They're going to wrap up in probably late November or early December, and we'll share the results with all of you. We'll be publishing them in our repository and on our website, and in the case of the interviews, on YouTube as well. We just want to throw out there that if any of you have an idea for a student project or a capstone or practicum, you're welcome to get in touch with me, or better yet, work with one of your TDL member groups to start designing potential projects. And then next up, we hope you'll join TDL and our OER ambassadors for our OER at TDL meeting on October 28th. Rusty Kimball of Texas A&M and Lisa Lewis of A&M Corpus Christi are going to present on how their OER programs are structured. And then that will be followed by an open floor discussion around how we can tailor conversations about OER and open education to different audiences. So again, we're meeting October 28th from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Central. I'll paste the link here in chat just a second where you can learn more and register. But while you're there, I hope you'll get to meet TDL's newest OER ambassador, Sabrina Davis of Texas Tech University, joined the team at Tech back in August after being the former director of libraries at Graceland University in Lamoni, Iowa. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming Sabrina to Texas and to the TDL. So I'm going to hand things over to Alex to finish out our community updates, and I'll drop links in the chat for all the stuff I just talked about. And that's it for me.
Thanks, Leah, and hi, everybody. As secretary on the Tarot Steering Committee, I am so excited to share some tarot news with you all today. Tarot's new website has debuted at texarchives.org, which you'll see here on that slide. Funded by the NEH, this Tarot 2.0 project entailed an entire redesign and enhancement of our 20-year-old site. Training about the site, focusing on creating and uploading finding aids based around the new site's requirements, will be held in future months. Previous trainings can also be found online. A large part of the project was the remediation of nearly 16,000 finding aids to make sure they work with the site's new functionality, and to date, over 90% of finding aids are site ready. Among the many improvements, the new site brings to the table a vastly improved search functionality, including more accurate search results and better descriptions of collections within those results. Browsing by finding aid, creator, subject headings, and repository, all long requested functions for the site, have also been implemented. Tarot is now looking forward to a future beyond the new website, building off of the momentum created by the release of Tarot 2.0. Funding opportunities are already being researched, focusing especially on outreach and training activities, including recruiting and training new members. So I encourage everybody to check it out. We've been hard at work, so I'm excited about it. Let me go to the next slide here. All right, so the Society of Southwest Archivists is offering a $5,000 stipend for one graduate student or recent graduate within 2 years to receive an archivist in residence opportunity. The purpose of this residency is to offer upcoming and new professionals with paid career development opportunities to apply knowledge in archives, libraries, museums, or related field, to teach new archivists how to accurately calculate the value of their education, experience, and overall value as an archivist, and to provide an opportunity for archival organizations to work toward the long-term goal of eliminating unpaid work within the field. The residency may last up to 12 weeks to be completed by the end of the current calendar year. The resident will receive a 1-year complimentary membership to the Society of Southwest Archivists. We'll go ahead and paste a link in chat where you can learn more about the opportunity and apply. The Digital Preservation Outreach and Education Network is seeking applications for individuals and institutions to support professional development in the area of digital preservation. They are interested in hearing from both individuals and institutions who are looking to enhance their digital preservation capacities, those who may have digital preservation challenges stemming from the COVID-19 outbreak, as well as emerging professionals with an interest in digital preservation and any information worker laid off or furloughed during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we'll paste a link in chat as well where you can learn about how to take advantage of this opportunity. So we also have a bunch of member groups coming up, and we want you to join if you can. We'll paste links into the chat where you can learn more and sign up. We've got on October 21st, Digital Preservation Interest Group. The 22nd is our GIS Interest Group and Social Hour. 26th, we have our DSpace User Group. 28th, OER, TDL. 29th, Research Integrity. And November 15th, Carpentries for All. And also I wanted to drop in there December 9th, our Web Archiving Texas Interest Group presents Web Recorder. So we've got links to paste in the chat, and now I'm going to hand things back over to Christy.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex, and thanks, Courtney and Amanda and Leah for those updates. We do have a few minutes here left in our half hour. If there are any questions, be happy to answer those about anything that we've talked about today or any announcements you want to share. While you're thinking of questions, I did want to, because I know he's here, so I can embarrass him, share with you all, and if you didn't already know, that our colleague at UT Southwestern Medical, John Krosno, just recently was awarded the Distinguished Service Award by his colleagues at the South Central chapter of the Medical Library Association. It's a big deal. So congrats, John. Super well deserved. I know so many of our colleagues out there in TDL land receive awards like this, and we don't always know about them. So if you know of somebody else that ought to be called out, please share that. I just happen to know that one. Any questions before we wrap things up?
I see that Alexa has posted here that Texas A&M Corpus Christi is hiring 2 positions. Thanks, Alexa. Do you want to say anything about those?
Not really, but if people have questions, feel free to email me. We're hiring for the Director of Special Collections and Archives. Our current director is retiring at the end of February, and we have a new position for an open education librarian. So it is a new position, but it's focused on open ed, which is great.
That's awesome. And I
Christy.
see Heidi noting that Texas Tech has an assessment librarian position open as well. Great. Well, those are 2 great places to work with, great folks to work with. So I know you'll find somebody, some good folks. Oh, there's the link. Thanks, Heidi. I'm going to give everybody a chance to grab those links before we wrap things up. I want to just say we'll share out these slides, of course, and the slides do contain a lot of great information and links to resources, as you can see on the slide. So be sure to grab those. We'll also post the recording when we have it available. Thanks everybody for being here. It's always good to be together, and I hope you're having a great fall semester and enjoying some cooler temperatures. I know I have been. And everybody take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.